the fake smiles, the "I'm fine" lies, the low-key shade from people who secretly hope you fail but won't say it out loud. And guess what? I've lived it. I've been the resented, and I've been the resentful. Let's talk about both. But before we get into the drama, if you enjoy deep, punch you in the gut but make you grow insights on Stoicism, self-improvement, and navigating life with actual wisdom, you'll love my free newsletter. Every Sunday, I drop powerful lessons, unpopular truths, and real strategies to help you level up without sounding like a cheesy Instagram quote. It's free, no fluff, just stuff that actually helps. Links below. Sign up and let's grow together. And hey, if you're a brand and you want your message in front of smart, curious, mentally jacked people who actually care about bettering themselves and not just looking like it, email's in the description. Let's make something meaningful and maybe a little disruptive. All right, let's talk about the ways people resent you in silence and what that says about them, and maybe about you too. Let's go. 1. They forget to invite you. A lot. Let's just rip the band-aid off. Oops, I forgot to invite you is rarely a genuine oversight. It's a socially acceptable way to ghost someone without actually ghosting them. A quiet little exile, served with a smile and wrapped in plausible deniability. You'll know it's happening when the pattern sets in. The first time you think, it's fine. Honest mistake. The second time you think, weird coincidence. The third time, you're realizing this isn't forgetfulness. This is emotional eviction. Let's talk real. We all know that group chats are social ecosystems. Every group has a vibe manager, a clown, the oversharer, the ghoster, and the unspoken hierarchy. So when someone consistently forgets to invite you, it's not that you vanished from their contacts. It's that you no longer serve the social algorithm of the group. Maybe you became too opinionated. Maybe you started growing, healing, changing, challenging their mediocrity. Or maybe they just found someone new to play your role. And instead of having one hard, awkward adult conversation, they go the slow burn route. They stop including you, gradually, quietly, cowardly. You get forgotten out of events you used to help plan. Left off invites to birthday dinners, spontaneous hangouts, coffee meetups. And when you see it on Instagram, oh, suddenly it wasn't a big thing. It was just a casual hangout. So casual that the seating chart looked like a wedding. And when you bring it up, if you even do, they hit you with the classics. It was last minute. There were only a few of us. I thought you were busy. Wait, did we really not invite you? OMG. Lies. Pretty ones, but lies nonetheless. I had a friend, let's call her M. M and I were thick. Weekly phone calls. Deep convos about life, trauma, purpose. You know, the spiritual trauma bond type friendships that feel like therapy with memes. Anyway, she starts getting close with a different crew. Cool. Expand your world. I'm not possessive. Then one day, I open Instagram and boom, there they are, in Cancun, matching swimsuits, group activities, cocktail cheers. Someone made a goddamn itinerary. And I was scrolling from my couch eating cereal with no milk. Now mind you, I'd literally talked to her 3 days before they left. She told me how tired she was and how she needed rest. Not a word about a trip, not a casual, you should come. Just full-on ghosted from the beach bonding experience. I called her out, gently, and her reply, "Oh my God, I totally forgot. It was super last minute and I didn't think you'd want to come. It wasn't really your vibe anyway." I didn't want you there, but I don't want to admit that, because then I'd have to own the fact that I intentionally excluded someone who trusted me. And you know what? That hurt. Not because I didn't get to sip margaritas by the ocean, but because someone I thought was home base decided I wasn't even worth the honesty of being uninvited. People don't forget who they value. You never forget your best friend's birthday. You don't accidentally exclude someone who's central to your emotional world. So when someone tells you they forgot to invite you repeatedly, it's not a memory lapse, it's a hierarchy check. In their mind, you've been demoted, and they don't have the guts to tell you directly, so they'll just hope you get the hint and slowly disappear yourself. But here's the twist no one talks about. Sometimes people resent you for outgrowing them. They sense your evolution, your glow up, your new boundaries, your higher standards. And instead of rising with you, they resent you quietly. So they withdraw your access, but not loud enough to be called out. It's social cowardice disguised as forgetfulness. When someone forgets to include you once, give grace. Twice, be curious. But the third time, take the hint, but don't take the shame. They're showing you your spot in their life, and it's somewhere behind the scenes, off the guest list, after the fact. And the real healing comes when you stop begging to be remembered by people who've already chosen to forget. You're not extra. You're not too much. You're not unworthy of being included. You're just no longer useful in the story they're trying to tell about themselves. And that's not your burden to carry. There's a saying I love: go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. But I'll add to that: go where you're invited without reminders. Go where your presence is requested, not negotiated. Go where no one forgets you, because you're impossible to forget. And if you can't find that space yet, build it, become it, and watch how the right people show up with genuine invitation and open seats at the table. Because the moment you stop chasing after people who forgot you, you make room for those who will never let you be anything less than seen. 2. Radio silence when you succeed. Let's be real, one of the most uncomfortable truths about life is this: some people love you, as long as you're not doing better than them. Oh, they'll ride with you through heartbreaks, job rejections, and I'm spiraling texts at 2 a.m. But God forbid you start winning. Suddenly, the group chat dies. Your supportive friends go mute. And that Instagram story you just posted about your promotion? Crickets. Maybe a scene. No like, no comment. Not even a fake-ass, proud of you, boo. Nothing. Why? Because your glow-up threatens their comfort zone. Your success holds up a mirror, and they don't like the reflection. The awkward truth: some people only clap when you're losing. This is the part nobody wants to admit. There's a special kind of resentment that lives in silence. It doesn't yell. It doesn't throw shade. It doesn't even unfollow you. It just withholds energy, withholds joy, withholds the bare minimum: a congrats, a heart emoji, a simple "that's dope, I'm happy for you." And yet, these are the same people who were front row cheerleaders when your life was a dumpster fire. They showed up when you were miserable. They loved you when you were broken, confused, unemployed, or heartbroken, because in those moments you were safe. You weren't threatening. You weren't proof that growth is possible, and that maybe they're just choosing stagnation. I remember when I got my first freelance contract that actually paid well, not "thanks for the exposure" money, not "can you do this for $100" and vibes money. I mean actual grown-ass, I can breathe now money. I was ecstatic. I messaged my closest circle. Most were hyped, celebratory texts, fire emojis, the works. Except for one person. Let's call her Jade. Now Jade had been there for me when I was job hunting, broke and spiraling. She was the voice of reason, the advice giver, the one I leaned on. But when I sent the good news, nothing. No wow, no proud of you, no that's amazing, just a casual, cool, must be nice, followed by silence for 2 weeks. I followed up. Nothing. She started viewing my stories but never engaging. Her energy shifted from warmth to low-key shade. Suddenly, everything I said felt like bragging, even when it wasn't. At first, I thought I was overreacting. Then it hit me. She wasn't happy for me because she didn't want me to outgrow her. My success highlighted the fact that she was stuck and I had moved. Some people thrive off your struggles, not out of cruelty but out of control. When you're struggling, they feel needed. When you're winning, they feel irrelevant. And instead of celebrating you, they sulk in silence because now they have to confront their own choices. Your joy forces them to acknowledge their lack of progress. Your growth forces them to ask, "Why not me?" And instead of using your win as inspiration, they internalize it as judgment. Let me say something that might sting. Not everyone who loves you loves the highest version of you. Some people are only comfortable with your past self, the version that doubted themselves, that needed permission, that played small to keep the peace, the version that didn't outshine them. I want you to think of success, not just career-wise, but emotional growth, healing, setting boundaries, finding peace as a social strainer. When you level up, the water keeps flowing, but the gunk gets caught. Fake friends, secretly jealous acquaintances, energy vampires. All that stuff gets filtered out the moment you step into your power. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely. It can feel like you're doing something wrong, but you're not. You're just discovering who clapped for you and who clapped at you while secretly hoping you stayed behind. What you can do about it: don't chase their applause. If someone can't celebrate you, don't dim your light just to make them comfortable. You've earned your success. You deserve to be proud of it. Grieve the friendship if you must, but don't shrink. It's okay to outgrow people. It doesn't make you heartless. It makes you evolving. Focus on those who are genuinely happy for you. You'll know them by their energy. They don't just show up, they pour in. They cheer you on, even if their own life isn't perfect. That's real support. That's abundance mentality. Here's something I had to learn the hard way. Your joy is not a burden. Your success is not selfish. Your growth is not a betrayal. If someone feels abandoned because you're thriving, it's probably because they were never walking beside you in the first place. They were just waiting for you to circle back and stay small. Let them be silent. Let your wins echo without their validation, because your progress doesn't need permission. And you're allowed to win loudly. 3. They avoid eye contact. Let's not sugarcoat it. When someone can't look you in the eye, they're not just shy, they're wrestling with something. And sometimes that something is called resentment, with a dash of guilt and a sprinkle of envy. This one is subtle. It's not loud like gossip, not obvious like ghosting, but it's real. You walk into a room, you see them, they see you, but instead of a nod, a smile, a "yo, what's up?" they suddenly become deeply fascinated with their shoelaces, their phone, or the dust on the ceiling. They're blinking too much, their energy's jittery, they laugh too hard at someone else's joke, but they can't, and won't, look you in the eye. Why? Because your presence triggers something uncomfortable in them, and the eyes don't lie, even when the mouth does. Let's kill the nice narrative. Yes, some people are shy. Yes, neurodivergence is real. But I'm not talking about introverts at a party. I'm talking about people you used to be close to. People who were once comfortable around you, and now can't meet your gaze without flinching. That's not social awkwardness. That's emotional dissonance. They know they've been off. They know the energy shifted. They know they said some slick shit behind your back, or pulled away, or secretly judged you for choosing growth. And now, they can't face you, because looking you in the eye would mean confronting what they've done, or how they feel about what you've become. Let me tell you a story. I was invited to a friend's wedding. Beautiful venue, heartfelt ceremony, everyone dressed to impress. Now, I hadn't seen this one particular guy, let's call him Nate, in over a year. We used to be tight, podcast convos, vulnerable chats, late night messages about purpose and burnout. That kind of friend. But somewhere along the way I started leveling up, emotionally, professionally, spiritually, and instead of riding the wave with me, Nate pulled back. No beef, no falling out, just distance, passive silence, faded check-ins. So I walk into the wedding, excited to reconnect. And guess what? This man spent the entire night pretending I was invisible, like full-on CIA stealth mode. Whenever I came into his line of sight, he'd instantly look away, start fidgeting, check his phone, even when there was no signal. At one point, I literally walked right past him to grab a drink, and he stared into the void like he was trying to astral project out of the room. I laughed about it later, but in the moment, it stung, because his eyes, or lack of them, told me everything I needed to know. I don't hate you, but I can't face the version of you I've been silently resenting. Let's go deeper. Why it happens. Avoiding eye contact is a nervous system response. It's the body's way of saying, this situation is emotionally unsafe. And in the context of resentment, it usually means guilt. They said or thought something about you they wouldn't dare admit to your face. Jealousy. Your confidence exposes their insecurity. Regret. They mishandled the friendship or didn't support you, and now it's too late to fix it. Self-comparison. Your presence makes them question their own stagnation. Most resentment is a reflection of personal inadequacy, projected onto someone who dared to rise. They don't hate you. They hate that you remind them of who they could be, but aren't. So they avoid eye contact like it's sunlight and they're vampires of the soul. If it weren't so sad, it'd be comical, like watching people play dodgeball with your face. They'll talk to everyone but you. They'll laugh a little too loudly when you speak to someone else. They'll pretend to check a text 47 times in 10 minutes, like they're waiting on Elon Musk to personally DM them. Honestly, it's become a game. I call it the Shifty Eyes Olympics. Gold medal goes to the person who avoids eye contact while simultaneously standing next to you and pretending not to know you exist. Impressive stuff. But here's the thing, I don't take it personally anymore. Because when someone can't look you in the eye, it says more about their inner world than your outer actions. There's a reason we say the eyes are the window to the soul. Because when someone can truly see you and let you see them, there's an intimacy, a truth, a kind of energetic handshake that says, we're good. But when the eyes dart, flinch, avoid, it's not about surface-level discomfort. It's about misalignment. Something's broken, something's shifted, something's being hidden. And instead of addressing it, they dodge it with silence, distance, and nervous glances. So, here's what I do now. If someone can't look me in the eye, I don't chase them. I don't force the vibe. I don't shrink to make them comfortable. I recognize it for what it is. Emotional avoidance. Not my job to fix it. Not my job to soothe their discomfort with my humility. If your presence makes someone look away, that's on them. You are not responsible for how your growth triggers others. You don't have to humble yourself so they feel less insecure. You don't have to avoid your own power so someone else can sit comfortably in their limitations. If they can't look you in the eye, they've already looked away from the friendship. Let them, because your eyes should be locked on your future, not begging for acknowledgement from people who can't handle your shine. 4. They mimic your ideas, then claim them. There's a special kind of betrayal that doesn't involve gossip, ghosting, or even outright conflict. No, it's sneakier than that. It's when someone watches you build something from scratch and then quietly copies it, slaps their name on it, and acts like they invented it. That's not flattery, that's idea theft dressed up as inspiration. You know the type. They never clap when you start something, but they're suddenly inspired to start their own thing. That looks eerily familiar. And when people compliment them, they eat it up without ever crediting you. Sound familiar? Let's get controversial. This is emotional plagiarism. Yep, I said it. It's emotional plagiarism. It's one thing to be inspired by someone. It's another thing to watch them bleed for a vision and then swoop in and act like it was your brainchild all along. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. People do this most often to the ones they're secretly competing with. It's always the ones who claim to support you, who love what you're doing, who ask a million curious questions about your process. But really they're collecting data, not cheering you on. They're building a blueprint based on your blood, sweat, and burnout. And then they launch a copy-paste version of your work, watered down, rebranded, but undeniably yours underneath. Let me be raw for a second. Back in my early content creator days, I started a Stoic-inspired Sunday email series. Nothing fancy, just deep reflections on life, discipline, growth, and pain. One friend, let's call him Alex, used to DM me every week with feedback. Bro, this is fire. I really needed that. Teach me how you format these. I was naive. I thought it was all love. I shared my tools, even showed him my outline template. Fast forward 3 months. Guess who's got a Stoic Sunday email series now? Same title structure, same tone, same exact quote from Marcus Aurelius I used, just posted 1 week later. No shout out, no inspired by. No, this was my friend's idea. Just silence and imitation, like I never existed. What makes this sting more? They genuinely think they're not doing anything wrong. Why? Because we live in a world where people confuse replication with innovation, where being inspired is a get-out-of-jail-free card for intellectual theft, where real creativity is devalued because it makes people uncomfortable when someone actually does something original. It's easier to mimic someone who's bold than to be bold yourself. It's easier to replicate than to originate. And when they see you getting traction, they don't say, "Damn, I'm proud of them." They say, "Well, I could do that too." So they do, but without the soul, without the scars, without the sleepless nights you spent wondering if your ideas even mattered. Let's laugh a bit, because if you don't, you'll cry. Copycats will steal your idea, then give you unsolicited advice on how to do it better. Rebrand your vision as theirs, and act confused when you go quiet. Tell everyone they came up with it, and swear they had the idea before you. It's like watching someone rob your house and then give you a tour of the furniture. "Hey, I just bought this couch, isn't it dope?" Brother, that's my couch, but sure, light some sage and call it manifestation. The people who steal your ideas are rarely malicious. They're just scared. Scared to trust their own voice. Scared to start with nothing. Scared to fall flat with something authentically theirs. So they copy someone they admire, but are secretly competing with. And that someone is usually you. But here's the twist. No one can steal your essence. They can take your format, your phrasing, your branding, but they can't steal your soul. And if your ideas came from soul, yours will always hit harder. Because what they copied in structure, you birthed in pain. What they imitated in form, you earned through failure. You were living it, they were watching it. And that difference, it always shows. So what do? Call it out? Maybe, but usually it's not worth the energy. Let the work speak louder. Go silent? Tempting. But don't let copycats shame you into shrinking. Change the game, always. The most powerful move is to keep evolving so fast they can't keep up. While they're busy copying your last version, you're already becoming someone new. Let them mimic the method. You embody the message, because at the end of the day, true creators don't compete. They outgrow. If you've ever had someone steal your idea, repackage it and take the credit. I see you. You're not crazy. You're not petty. You're not imagining it. You're just dealing with someone who couldn't create their own wave, so they tried to ride yours. But remember this, your value isn't in the idea, it's in how you bring it to life. No one can replicate your why. And real ones, they don't steal. They collaborate, credit, and elevate. Let the clout chasers chase. You. Keep creating what they'll try to copy next. 5. They ask questions. They already know the answers too. You ever have someone ask you a question and something about it just feels off? Not curious, not supportive, not even polite small talk, but something more like, I already know the answer. I just want to see if you know how uncomfortable it makes me. Yeah, that kind of question. They smile, they seem casual, but under the surface, it's a power play, a petty flex, a subtle act of emotional warfare disguised as curiosity. And the worst part, they already know the damn answer. What it sounds like. So you still doing that YouTube thing? They literally watched your last 3 videos. Weren't you, like, working on some kind of book or whatever? You posted about it last week. Wait, you live there now? They reacted to the Instagram story of your move. Oh, you're still dating what's their name? They liked your anniversary post. These aren't questions. These are covert jabs wrapped in feigned innocence. They're not asking to know more. They're asking to reassert their relevance in your story, to act as if they're unaware, when they've been watching from the sidelines the whole time. Here's the truth that'll ruffle some feathers. When someone asks you a question they already know the answer to, what they're really saying is, I'm pretending to be out of the loop, so I can pretend you haven't outgrown me. Boom. It's a psychological defense mechanism. If they acknowledge how well you're doing, they'd have to confront their own stagnation. So instead, they play dumb, or worse, minimize your progress by pretending it's not even worth noticing. It's like saying, oh, that thing you poured your soul into, the thing you've built with blood, sweat, and late nights. Yeah, I barely noticed. Is that still happening? Oof. I'll never forget this one friend. Let's call her Melissa. We hadn't talked in months. She knew I'd started a newsletter. She'd even subscribed. She had watched my stories, reacted to my posts, and liked my announcement about hitting 10,000 subs. Then one day we bumped into each other at an event. Her first words, "Oh, are you still doing that email thing?" That email thing. The email thing that's been changing lives, keeping me up till 3 a.m. and helping me pay bills. She already knew the answer. She just didn't want to validate it out loud, because validating it would mean acknowledging that I've created something meaningful, and some people would rather eat glass than clap for you out loud. Let's lighten it up a little. These folks act like they're detectives investigating a mystery they already solved. Oh wow, you write now? Yes, Karen. You left a comment on my last essay. You still dating that girl with the... what's her name again? Sarah. Her name is Sarah. You literally DM'd her last week to ask about her skincare routine. They're not clueless. They're just pretending. And you can tell, because right after asking, they go dead silent. No follow-up questions. No excitement. No, that's awesome. Tell me more. Just a little smirk and an awkward sip of their drink. The psychology behind it. This is where it gets deep. People ask questions they already know the answers to for a few reasons. 1. control. They want to guide the conversation to a place that feels safer for them. They pretend they don't know what you're doing because acknowledging your success feels threatening. 2. Power dynamics. By acting like they're out of the loop, they shift the dynamic. They get to act like you're still figuring it out, like you're the student and they're the one asking the questions. 3. Passive-aggressive insecurity. Some people can't clap for you, but they can throw shade disguised as questions. They ask about your journey like it's a phase, not a path. Here's what I've learned the hard way. Just because someone asks a question doesn't mean they deserve an answer, especially when the question is laced with envy, control, or judgment. You don't have to perform for people who act like they forgot your glow-up. You don't need to prove the worth of your journey to someone who pretends they missed the memo. If they've been watching from the shadows and pretending not to see you, let them stay in the dark. Because the people who really love you, they already know what you're doing, and they'll ask how they can support it, not pretend they forgot it exists. When someone asks you a question they already know the answer to, here's what you say. Smile. Breathe. Say, yeah, still doing it. Actually going better than ever. Then move on. Don't shrink. Don't over-explain. Don't get defensive. Let them sit with their faux ignorance and silent resentment, because at the end of the day, you don't need to prove anything to people who act like they don't already know you're winning. Let your life be the loudest answer. If you made it this far, you already know what's up. Some people won't throw shade directly. They'll just lower the temperature when you walk in the room. They won't unfollow. They'll just stop engaging and pretend they don't see you leveling up. But here's the truth. Silent resentment is just loud insecurity in disguise. So if you feel the energy shift, trust it. Don't chase. Don't explain. Don't shrink. Let them watch. Quietly. You've got work to do. If you felt called out, validated, or straight up exposed by anything in this video, smash that like button, drop a comment with the sign if you've ever been silently resented, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications, because I drop deep, raw, uncomfortable truths every single week to help you master your mindset, stay grounded, and stop playing small. And hey, if you love content like this and want even more value-packed gems that I don't post anywhere else, sign up for my free weekly newsletter. It's like this video but 10 times deeper, straight to your inbox every Sunday. No spam, no fluff, just clarity, mindset, and hard truths you can actually use. The link's in the description, and if you're a brand or creator who's aligned with this message and wants to reach an audience that's tapped in, self-aware, and hungry for growth, my contact info is also below. Let's build something real. Until next time, remember, some people watch your life like it's a show, but they'd rather see you fail than give you a standing ovation. So clap for yourself, stay grounded, and keep moving forward. See you in the next one. Peace, purpose, and power.